Hey, I'm Yasmin Young, and today there's a special event going on. So if you're a parent, a student, or someone concerned about education here in Buffalo, it's going to be the Buffalo Public Schools Parent Assembly and Summit. And this is Dr. Steve Perry.
That's me.
That's him. And you are here one night only, right?
One night only. Isn't that how the song goes in Dreamgirls?
So 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. tonight. And talk to me about what this assembly hopes to accomplish.
What we're going to do is we're going to call attention to the fact that Buffalo's public schools have not been serving Buffalo's public in the way in which it should.
Okay.
We're going to talk to parents about what they can and must do to make sure that happens. Their role in it and what they can do to prepare their children, but also to push the system, because this is your system, this is our system, this is our community. Okay. This is our community should reflect our desires, not the people on the teachers' unions and other organizations who are making money off the backs of our children's failures.
So talk to me a little bit about your background in education for those that may not know Dr. Perry and why this concerns you.
Well, my background in education is we started a school in Hartford that went on to send 100% of graduates on to four-year colleges from the first class that we had.
100%.
100% of our graduates on to four-year colleges since our first class in 2006. And then from there, I ended up on a show called Black in America, where 15 million people watched as they saw how we educate children, overwhelmingly Black, Latino, and poor, to get them there. And then that's presented us with opportunities to open a school in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and now we're opening one in Harlem with a good friend of mine, Sean Combs.
Nice. So you heard that. Sean Combs, which we've heard in the blogs and people talking about that. So you're helping him with that.
I am. He approached me, and I was leaving an engagement party. He said, "Can I tell you something?" I said, "Sure." Like, why wouldn't I, right? He said, I always want to start my own school. I said, "Well, good luck with that." He said, No.
We ain't done.
He said, "Well, I want me and you to do that." I said, I'm good where I am, but that sounds like a lot of fun, for whomever you do it with. And then he said, "Well, take down my number." I said, "All right, cool." He said, No, give me your number." I said, "Cool." So before I walked to the elevator, he called me, he said, "I'm dead serious." And for the next 2 years, he said, "What's going on with this school?" And I said, "Come on, man, why don't you do an after-school program or a scholarship? Why don't you give turkeys out on Thanksgiving or something like that?" He said, "It's not what I want something. I want a legacy." He said, "I see what's happening to our community, specifically to our Black children, and I want to see something good happen for them. And I believe that the place to do it is through education. I got my start through education. I want to give other people the same start." And so it was that synergy that brought us together, and that's that synergy that brought me here. The parents brought me here.
Well, let me ask you from, looking at some of the poorer neighborhoods when, let's say, possibly one or both parents are using drugs, or let's say a child is living with grandparents because their parents are just not in their life, maybe they're going to school hungry. How do you take the focus off of those things and get the parents, the grandparents, the community, the child to focus on education when they're hungry, they're scared, they don't feel like they're safe, they don't feel like they're loved, and they have all of these basic necessities that aren't being met?
Well, what's wild? At the foot of liberty, it says, "Bring us your tired, poor, huddled masses yearning to breathe free." So it's always been expected that this country was going to be a hope land for not just a homeland, but a hope land for people who were coming from distant shores. And the hope that we provide best, when we're at our best, is we give them access to a quality education. What's been overstated and probably wrongly stated is the impact that where you come from has on where you go. So many of us know or were people who grew up with nothing.
Right.
But because somebody put their hand on their shoulder and say, "All right, sis, it's me and you. We're going to make it out of here," whether it was an upper bound program or a Boys and Girls Club or a charter school or a prep for prep program, something that pulled us up out of these circumstances, but didn't move us from our home, Put us in a situation where somebody was going to love us for who we are and expect the most of us. And when they expected the most of us, we delivered the most. So what we do when we're at our best as educators is we expect the most of our children. Child says, "I left my shoes at home and I don't have my uniform on because my mother and father were beefing last night." I don't really understand why your mother and father beefing has something to do with your shoes. We remove excuses and we put in answers. So when your mother and father have in a situation, you know what you need to do, right? So then you do it. Because the world is not waiting for any children, especially Black, Latino, and poor kids, to come to them with excuses. So we don't allow them to have excuses. And more important than that, we don't allow the grown people we pay so they can live in the suburbs. We don't allow them to make excuses up as to why they're not going to serve our children the way they're supposed to.
Very true. Very true. Okay, before I let you go, what about, and I did this as a topic for my talking to and you have a 100% graduation rate that goes to college, what about the debt that our young, you know, African, American, Latino, white, everybody ends up with? I have a master's degree, and I am going to be paying for that degree for a very, very, very long time. So when you are teaching these kids about furthering their education beyond high school, do you incorporate that type of money management? And
we do.
budgeting
We
into
talk
that?
about it. When we began our first school, I would just say, Yasmin, apply to whatever school you want to. You say, no, my mother doesn't have any money, my father. I say, apply to whatever school you want to. We'll figure it out. In the past decade, that's changed. I have to be more responsible when I'm advising children. I say apply to that expensive school also, but we also have to look at state options or other options where they may be looking for students of color in a part of the country that you may not be really stoked about going to, but
right, if it's gonna
you got to eat
end
this,
up giving
bro.
you a degree,
You got to
then
eat it.
yeah.
And so if you find yourself in Wisconsin, find somebody to do
God
your
bless
hair.
you.
Find somebody to do your hair and do what you need to do, but or wait till you get home or braid it or whatever you need to do. But you're
Lots of
behind
afros in
it.
Wisconsin.
Whatever you got to do, you do it. So we do have that conversation with our kids. But the fact is that even as you well know, regardless of the debt that you have in school, it's going to pay for itself. Our bigger issue is when they go out and get debt on a whip that they don't need, or some gear that they don't need, or an apartment, or you know, I can't tell you how many times I've been to people's houses who live in the hood, and they got this TV that's so big you got to go stand outside to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the debt that we need.
Right.
It's
The
that
Jordans,
poverty mindset that says that I'm gonna stand in line to buy a pair of sneakers that I cannot afford.
Right.
I'm gonna save up for some sneakers
Right.
as
But I'm
opposed to
not saving
save
up
up
for college.
or for some Kumon program or
Right.
some other tutoring program. It's that poverty mindset that we spend a lot of time trying to beat back. That it's all right for you to want to live well, but you live well once you've earned well.
Right, absolutely. Well, I appreciate your time. 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock tonight, and the address is 1500 Elmwood Avenue at McKinley High School. It's the Buffalo Public Schools Parent and Assembly and Summit, and you can pre-register if you need to at buffaloschools.org. And I have been assured that even though it's the last minute, you can still register or pre-register and get in today. So such a pleasure to speak with you about
Thank you so
education, because I know how important that is to our community, and you know, even for us, you and I, our future, because that's gonna, you know, lead this country either in a positive path or a negative path. So thank you.